Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 11 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan. We start tonight with some breaking news. A mobile home caught fire on East Weile Avenue in Spokane. Here's a live picture of the scene right now. This is near the Spokane Humane Society off North Freya Street. That fire started at around 8:30 tonight. The Fire District 9 Division Chief says the fire could be seen for a half a mile away. As of right now, the fire department says they have the fire under control and they're working to put out any remaining hot spots. That mobile home, by the way, was a total loss. The good news, no one was hurt in the fire. Investigators are still working to determine the cause of that blaze. In other news this evening, 39-year-old Aaron Christopher Kelly is suspected of killing one person and critically injuring another when he opened fire inside the Richland Fred Meyer yesterday. Police eventually caught up with Kelly in Moses Lake this morning, more than 12 hours after the shooting. Now with him behind bars, the community is starting to settle. Tonight, our Kyle Simchuk explains how the community is coming together.
Well, yeah, Mark, the local Red Cross here is seeing a surge of people wanting to donate blood following this tragedy. Tonight, we're learning more about the victims and what exactly took place inside this store. Richland police say 39-year-old Aaron Kelly pulled out a handgun and started shooting 2 minutes after entering the Fred Meyer store.
I was helping someone with their groceries, putting them in their trunk when my boss and a bunch of people started running outside and saying, "Run, run, there's an active shooter."
A chaotic scene as customers and employees scrambled to safety, emotions pouring out in the parking lot.
We heard a couple pops thinking, okay, it might have been a couple of balloons popping somewhere. And then we heard another few and people running saying shots fired, ducking and running out the doors.
Kelly was arrested by U.S. Marshals near Moses Lake early this morning. He appeared before a judge this afternoon charged with first-degree murder and attempted murder.
Acquaintances of Kelly have described his condition to investigators as being in decline over the last few weeks and months. He has been described as distancing himself from friends and family.
He had a brief conversation with 38-year-old Justin Crumbaugh before allegedly pulling out a handgun and shooting him to death. A GoFundMe set up for Crumbaugh's family has raised nearly $22,000 in less than 24 hours. A second victim, a Fred Meyer employee, remains in critical condition.
Horrible tragedy, shouldn't have happened, but we need to move forward, support those who support the community.
West Benton fire crews say after that man's first life-saving surgery, the local blood bank ran out of compatible blood and had to bring in some from Spokane. The local Red Cross has been flooded with people wanting to donate. Samuel Chow is one of them. His girlfriend used to work with the victim.
He says that he's like the greatest, nicest guy in the building at Fred Meyer. He used to work with him, and he really needs the help right now, so it's the least I can do.
Police say there's no evidence that Kelly knew any of the men he shot.
Again, there are no words to adequately express our sorrow for the victims and their families regarding this senseless act of violence resulting in the loss of innocent life.
Reporting in Richland, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
The shooting suspect made his first court appearance in Benton County today. Aaron Kelly is accused of shooting and killing one person, again wounding another inside that Fred Meyer yesterday. He is charged with murder and attempted murder. A probable cause document details events surrounding the shooting. When Richland police arrived at the store, they found 2 people with gunshot wounds. A Fred Meyer employee told police that she recognized Kelly because he was suspected of shoplifting at that store last Thursday. Investigators say the suspect's ex-roommate identified Kelly after police posted his photo on social media. Brian Scott told police that Kelly has been spiraling mentally and described him as paranoid. Our crews in Richland spoke with that former roommate.
I was stacking up his clothing, that vest, the earbuds. That was like, he always walked around with those earbuds, or different ones, and just his haircut, and then that backpack. That he always had that backpack on.
The suspect did not enter a plea today on his murder charges. His bond, though, remains at $1 million. New tonight, the first flu-related death has now been reported in Spokane County. A woman in her 80s with underlying health conditions died, according to the Spokane Regional Health District. So far, 3 other flu-related deaths have occurred in Washington this season. However, the health district says flu activity has been low in the region. Also new tonight, Spokane Falls Community College announced they would be expanding their testing site operations to 7 days a week. The new expansion would start this Saturday. The drive-up testing site is open from 8:30 in the morning until 6 p.m. Well, Spirit Games are continuing tonight with University High School and Central Valley High School. They are facing off in the Stinky Sneaker game at the Spokane Arena. Each school is trying to be as loud and exciting as they can for their team. And a little later on in the broadcast, we'll share who won the game and who took home that coveted Stinky Sneaker prize. All right, now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. A former Washington State Department of Health employee is suing the state and the state's Secretary of Health. She claims the department violated her First Amendment rights when they fired her over comments that she made as a concerned citizen over the firing of former health officer Dr. Bob Lutz. Erica Henry worked for the DOH for 7 years. She says she sent a personal email over concerns about Administrator Amelia Clark. This was after her former boss, Secretary of Health John Weisman, said that she could. She said she sent the email from her personal account on her own time. The lawsuit claims the firing violated her First Amendment rights. The state claims Henry violated ethics rules and that her actions could show a perceived conflict of interest.
It's time to make the next transition in this pandemic, and that is likely a mask optional, but our schools are ready to make this transition.
As some West Coast states prepare to end their mask mandates, Washington state health officials say it's still too early to do so. However, the Washington State Superintendent of Public Instruction says he supports ending a mask mandate in our schools. Superintendent Chris Rakedahl says it's not his decision to make, but that he would like to see families make their own decisions. Well, the Spokane County Board of Health has 3 new members after a new Washington law required local health district boards to have an equal number of elected and non-elective representatives. The new appointed members are Alicia Policani, Christopher Patterson, and Charlie Duranona. Some are raising concerns about the new appointees since none are medical doctors. To read more about their positions, just head to our website. That's KREM.com.
We kept an eye on the future to make sure that we didn't put any infrastructure in position that would limit us. And so we do have that ability to expand 10, 15 years down the road, or 5, whoever knows.
Well, this week is Boomtown Week here at KREM 2, where we are highlighting how our area is rapidly growing and a huge construction project is starting in downtown Spokane. The downtown stadium will serve as home for all the public high school football games and a USL soccer team. So coming up, our Brenna Green will join us to showcase this massive project. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text us the word night to 509-448-2000 and we'll send them directly to your phone. More U.S. troops arrived in Poland today as concerns grow of a Russian invasion of Ukraine. Hundreds of soldiers arrived roughly 62 miles from the Ukraine border. NATO says Russia currently has more than 100,000 troops stationed on Ukraine's border. Tonight, 11 people are dead and 35 people have been injured after a landslide that destroyed several homes in Colombia. The landslide caused dozens of evacuations, and the injured are now recovering in nearby hospitals. All right, let's talk weather. It ended up being another nice February day, but will that dry trend continue? Meteorologist Thomas Patrick joining us in the Outdoor Weather Center tonight. And Thomas, really tough to complain about our weather today because it was pretty nice, especially for February.
Yeah, and especially when we had that sunshine during the morning hours. Yeah, a bit of late day cloud cover prevented us from seeing another beautiful sunset, but we'll have plenty of chances through the course of this week. Our only blip was near the Blue Mountains, where just a little bit of that windward side foothills areas like Dayton, Pomeroy may have actually squeezed out a few showers, but that is going to be very uncommon over the course of this week. As we look at tomorrow morning, probably right near that freezing mark, 32, 33 degrees, with a very outside chance for some patchy fog developing. Our computer model shows that near the Deer Park area, really what's happening is any leftover snow in those mounds and mountains still melting when our temperatures are above the freezing mark, as they are at this moment, so still adding a little bit of moisture to the atmosphere. But other than that, temperatures once again back in the 40s for tomorrow, even 50s to our south, and we'll show you just how much longer this trend is going to last, all coming up in your forecast in a few moments.
Good, Thomas. Thank you very much. All right, taking a look at some Northwest news now. Wallace, Idaho is getting a new bank after their one and only bank closed last month. Mountain West Bank will be moving into the historic First National Bank of Wallace building in May after some renovations. The U.S. Bank branch closed its branch in Wallace back in January, leaving that community without a bank for miles. It plans to open its doors in May. All right, don't go to bed just yet. After the break, we are showcasing that new stadium being built in downtown Spokane. We'll share what interesting additions they'll be adding to that project. And coming up tomorrow on Up with KREM, our Nicole Hernandez asked the city what all this growth means for taxes. We are back in just 90 seconds.